Hi, this is Monte Pittman on Backstage Access, where the real show begins.
Hi, this is Chris with BackstageAxxess, and we have one of the most versatile guitarists out there here with us today. He's played with Prong, he's the guitarist for Madonna, and he has a brand new solo album about to be released, Inverted Grasp of Balance. I'm talking about Monte Pittman. Hello, Monte. Welcome to BackstageAxxess. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Now, you've got a brand new solo album. It's going to drop soon, so let's get right into it and talk about that. Inverted Grasp of Balance. Let's talk about the title. It's unique. So is there a hidden meaning there, or?
It's a line at the very beginning of the album that sets it off on the song Panic Attack. What that means is, if anything is inverted, of course, it's flipped, and your grasp of balance, it's like saying you're unbalanced, everything is unbalanced. Or, I'll put it to you this way, just when you think everything, you work hard to build everything up, and just when you think you've got it all figured out, and you got everything under control, the rug gets pulled out from under you, right?
Right.
And I think that's something that everybody can relate to in one way or another.
Cool.
And also, and I look at that as a blessing in disguise, because sometimes you do this and you have to pick up all those pieces and you got to start all over again. And you kind of learn from what you did the last time, and it's a blessing in disguise, I guess you could say.
Right.
And you try again.
Absolutely. Now, the album starts out really fierce. Right from the beginning, you're on the attack with Panic Attack. Did you set it out, like, this time around I'm going to make just this blistering hard metal album?
Yes. Oh, yes. I wanted to you put the album in, it'd beat the shit out of me for an hour.
And it does. It definitely does. But there's also some tracks that have a really nice contrast. Your album closer, New Blood Keeps Us Alive, it has a softer part to it. How did you work the softer parts into the record?
Well, I wanted to sort of, to kind of bring you down at the very end and then just blow up the Death Star at the very end of the album.
What was your writing?
It's got to have dynamics in there because, it's like if I spoke, if you ever had like a teacher, I had a teacher in school that had a monotone voice, and I don't know, they didn't teach me anything. I just was trying to stay awake because everything they said was just the same thing. So you have to have some dynamics, or your ear gets used to it.
Right. Now, what about the writing process for this album? Did you have the songs already pre-done, or do you kind of write as you go?
Yeah, I'm always writing, and some things stay just how it is when you wrote it, and then some things, some things change at the very end. I always like to leave something so I can be spontaneous in the studio, and then that's that part. And then there's some things, I used to go in the studio and just kind of play.
Okay.
So I had a band like when I was in Texas. And when we recorded, we didn't have any experience recording, so we didn't know. And we would just play and we would try different things. But then as you go along, you learn to be certain about what you're recording.
Right.
To be very sure, okay, here's the part. So it's tight and it's precise. And it's not like, I'm going to play it this way. Oh, I wonder what would happen if I played it this way and stacked this. And then you find out, oh, actually, I made it messy that way.
Okay. Now, there's some, of course, really killer leads and solos on the album. How do you keep yourself pushing the envelope, to kind of explore new territory as you're playing?
This album, it just happened to a lot of my friends are these amazing guitar players, and I was inspired from hanging out with them and watching them play. LA, there's some amazing guitar players. I mean,
Sure.
just amazing. And a lot of them are dear and dear friends to me. Some of my closest friends, and just being inspired from them. And that's kind of the beauty of it all, is you all learn from each other.
Now, you also brought in some people to help you out with the record. I think you brought Richard Christie and Billy Sheehan in to play on this one?
Yes.
Okay, how did they become involved with your project? Did you work with them before?
No, me and Richard have the same management, and Richard's also on Metal Blade.
Okay.
And I met Billy also, like, from the Power of Three came out. That was my last album.
Okay.
And what was cool is Billy was one of the first guys who spoke up saying that he really liked the Power of Three. And that was like, whoa, what a trip, you know, like, to have somebody like that talk about your album. Like, who would have ever thought that? And I was gonna have maybe a bunch of different guests, maybe have a few different drummers, a few different bass players, but the way that it just so happened is that I loved what Richard did. Like, Richard played on like maybe half the album.
Okay.
And I was gonna get maybe some other people, and the schedules didn't work out, and I was like, man, you know, I want Richard to do the whole thing. So that's how that happened. And I did want there to be wanted to be more uniform, you know, where it was more consistent.
Okay.
And then Billy played on some of it, and what he didn't play on, then I played on the rest. And Jay Ruskin produced the album, and I was like, well, what if I get this guy? What if I get this guy? What if I get this guy? He hands me, he's got one of Frank Bellows' basses. He goes, here, I want you to take this bass home with you. I want you to bring the rest of the album tomorrow. We're all bass on it. He goes, look, there's nobody who's going to be as tight on those guitars as you are, because you play the guitars.
Right.
And like, hey, you play bass. He's like, you play bass too, so you do it. So that's and like nobody's gonna make you happy except for you. Or not happy, but there's gonna be one little thing like, oh, they played it like this, and your parts are so precise that it has to be, you know, just bring the bass tomorrow. So I did, and then that was it.
Cool. Now, I saw on Twitter that you were shooting a music video. Is that for this album? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we shot a video yesterday in Vegas. The song is called Guilty Pleasure.
Okay.
And it's the most intense song that I've ever written. And we filmed it at our friend Chris Santos' restaurant called Beauty and Ethics.
Okay.
So whenever you're in Vegas or New York, definitely go eat there. It's some of the best food you ever have. Chris is he's got a TV show called Chopped, so you'll definitely probably know him from that.
Right.
And so we filmed it there, and Leanna Decker is the subject in the video, and she's the one that kills everybody. So it's going to be a very visually stunning and intense video. And it's the first time I've had videos like where there's scenes. Because Before the Morning Sun and Delusions of Grandeur from the last album are just like showing you the band or showing you playing the song.
Right.
And then I did a video for Missing and Away From Here just because a friend of mine has these really good cameras. He's made a movie before, and he knows cameras really well. And so he wanted me to. He's Brad Church, killer guitar player, and he's been starting to get known in LA too. And he was making his demo. You know, he has a big influence on me too, because he wanted me to mix his demo. And he goes, you mix my demo and I'll film some videos for you, because I want to practice, I want to use these cameras. And so he came to one of my whiskey shows, and he filmed us live, and that's how we did a video for Missing, just to kind of show everybody, here's us playing live.
Okay.
And then I wanted to do a video for Away From Here, and he's like, well, I got to get these cameras back tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, I got an idea. I've got all this stuff of me being on the road and taking video of me, like, wherever I was, in Turkey, in Australia, in Japan,
Sure.
in Arizona. And I said, look, I'm just going to put together, I'll make a video of that, and I'm going to put that on a screen, and then we'll just do it in one take, and I'll get up and I'll just stand there in front of the screen in my old Madonna white suit that's all dirty and nasty now. So it's kind of a little bit of an artistic statement, I guess. And it's just me playing, and then that fits with what the song is about. You know, it's so far away from here. And so this is the first time I'm doing a video and you have like actual scenes.
Right.
But it's only me in the video. The band isn't there. It's just me playing in a couple of different scenarios, and then there's a little bit of blood.
And when will that come out?
Well, we got to be realistic. You know, we don't want to rush it, but would love to get it out when the album comes out, which is in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
If it's not ready, then maybe right after that. But, you know, at some point, very soon.
Okay, cool. Now, what about a tour?
And then I'm now filming another video for the song Obliterated that we were going to do this week, and then we said, you know, we got too much going on with this, so we'll do that one next week.
Okay.
And that's a very difficult song to play. So I was like, I need a couple more days for what I did on this one.
And what about a tour? Are you going to get a chance to do some solo shows this time out?
I want to, you know, one of the next steps is to, get a booking agent and get out there and play. I mean, that's one of the next things we're trying to nail down.
Now,
doesn't mean that it's not like you just say, okay, I'm going to go play and go do it. You know, there's a lot of things involved.
Right.
But I get asked that every interview.
Oh, I imagine a lot of people are anxious to see you out there with this album, I'm sure.
Yeah, and that's great because I get asked that a lot. I wish I had an answer.
Now, of course, a lot of people know you because you're Madonna's guitarist. But how did you first get started working with her, and what has that experience been like for you?
I started giving her guitar lessons.
Okay.
And so and then she invited me to come and play guitar with her.
And are you still giving lessons?
Yeah. Still teach her like when we get ready for a tour.
Okay.
I mean, because she's been playing for a while now, so you know, she knows how to do what she wants to do. But yeah, so a lot of it is getting her ready for what she wants to play on the tour.
Okay.
And come up with new ideas for her and things like that.
Right. What about in the creative process? Do you have any involvement as far as that goes when she's getting ready to do an album or a new tour?
There's been every situation. You know, sometimes for an album, it's like I'm either there for day one or the last day.
Okay.
There's been both situations. Like for Hard Candy, I was there for the beginning when she was working with Pharrell, and I played on a lot of stuff. But then a lot of things changed, and you know, there's only like one or two things that made it because you know just the involvement of the album.
Right.
And on Confessions on the Dance Floor, I played on the song Like It or Not. And I was going to teach her, and she's like, hey, I got to finish this song. She goes, I want you to come up with a guitar part. And she goes, here's the song. And she goes, all right, I'll be right back. And she comes back, she goes, did you come up with anything? I go, yeah, well, there's this. She goes, perfect. I want you to go to the studio tomorrow and lay this down. I'm like, that's it? And they're like, that was fast. And it was just like the first thing I played. And then when we were in the studio, because the album ends with me playing guitar, and it's an electronic album. And when, you know, the last thing that I played, you know, I end, and then they're like, okay, that's it, that's the album.
Very cool. Now, of course, you're involved in a lot of other stuff as well. This summer you played with the LA Kiss football band, and I believe that was May through July, some dates with their home games. Will you be doing that in the future? Is that going to be a permanent thing from the next season?
Yes, they told me they want me to come back, and I definitely want to do it. That is so much fun. I love working with them. Yeah, Gene and Paul are awesome. And the team did great. They made it to the playoffs. They have us to where you can hire us for corporate events or private parties, and Gene has been plugging us on when he does interviews and stuff like that. He told me one day we were leaving. Because I'll tell you, man, this is a trip. If you're playing God of Thunder, and then you look out on the field, because after the game, the fans can come down on the field and take photos with the players and the cheerleaders, and for kids, there's a lot of cheerleaders. There are more cheerleaders than any other normal team. and we were doing God of Thunder, and I thought Gene and Paul left, and then I looked at it and Gene signed, and he just kind of looks up at us. I'm just thinking, like, what does that mean? is that good or bad? But he liked it, and like we're leaving at the same time, and he gives me like a fist bump, and he's like, man, you guys are really good. Because when I grow up, I want to be just like you one day. I said, you know what, Gene? I said, when I was a little kid, I said the exact same thing about you. He goes, you better watch it. He goes, you better be careful when you be careful what you wish for.
That's awesome. Now,
but it's great. They're awesome. Love all of them.
Very good, very good. Now, you get to work with, you were with Prong, you've got your solo stuff, working with Madonna, even people like Adam Lambert and Carmen. How important is it for you to be such a versatile player as a musician? Because you've just kind of done a little bit of everything.
It is so important for me, and it keeps me fresh with everything I do. It keeps me interested in everything that I do. Especially, man, this Carmen gig, I love playing with him so much. And I had no idea, because the music is like super, super poppy.
Right.
And I wasn't sure at first. And then I met them, and then we hit it off. They were super cool. And then they told me, like, hey, we want you to just do whatever you want to the song. I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, maybe turn it up a little bit. Turn on your distortion and like kind of like. I was like, well, really? But you guys have this poppy, and they're like, yeah, that's for the album, but we want to sort of like turn it up a little. I'm like, okay. And they're like, right here, you still go nuts. Like do some solo stuff. I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm like, I'm gonna get along just fine.
That's terrific. We want to thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. We can't wait. Keep us posted, please, on the tour.
Yeah, where do you live? Where are you at?
I am in Charlotte, North Carolina, so I'm on the other side.
Well, the more that people speak up, it makes me so happy to hear so many people say, those are the two things that I hear the most when doing all this press. People say, when are you playing? We want to see you live. And so knowing that there's an audience out there that wants to see this live, and now, I've got such a dynamite show to perform for people, but, I've got 4 albums of material, but,
right.
The majority of it would, of course, be the new album and the last album. Maybe do the song off of Pain, Love, and Destiny, my second album. And that's the second thing is people say, yeah, I went back and I listened to your first album. I went back and I listened to your second album. And how the transition, or I guess the evolution of what I've been doing, and that's what I like. I like the versatility and the variety. And that's cool that, like, if those albums were if they just existed as they were, you would look at them one way.
Right.
But how it gives a little bit different perception when you see everything all together. And I went back and I was listening to our first couple albums, and I listen to them differently now too. it's a trip. The lyrics mean different things to me, and I've forgotten what it was like to record them. So anything I listened to before that I thought was a little imperfection, or I was like, oh, I wish I could have changed this, I don't really notice that anymore. And it's just all kind of part of the texture. And you got to start somewhere with your first album.
Exactly. So we'll look forward to this album dropping in just another week or two, and the video coming up, and hopefully we'll be able to catch you out on tour sometime in the very near future.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so too.
I hope so.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us.
Anytime.